Las Vegas Raiders are continuing training camp, and things are getting heated in a literal sense. We're going to talk about Josh McDaniels scolding Malcolm Koonce, Aaron Rodgers' response to the Davante Adams Hall of Fame comments. We also have more updates on Cleveland Ferrell and many other players at camp, and we're also going to talk about the biggest position battles heading into August, and also position battles that have quietly gone away and are quietly solidified, in my opinion. All of this and more will be talked about on the Raiders Rundown. So make sure you like this video if you haven't already and subscribe to the Raiders Rundown for more Raiders content. And this was hilarious, my guys. We're going to watch this from Cassie Soto of the Las Vegas Review-Journal. And we also have your boy Q, another version of McDaniels going off on Malcolm Koonce. Check it out. See, Koonce. Don't do this here. So, okay, the context of this will be described in just a second, but basically they're running some drills, and I don't think it was the fact that Koonce made contact with the car. I'm going to give you guys a reason why I think McDaniels is frustrated.
Come right, stay high, stop, left, get out of the way, God damn it!
Hopefully we don't get flagged or demonetized for those F-bombs by Josh McDaniels, but I will say, the thing that I think is happening right here, and we're going to talk about this and many other things, but really it seems like they're running a scrambling drill, and Malcolm Koonce made contact with Derek Carr. Now, he didn't physically make contact with him. That's not what McDaniels was upset about. What he was upset about is he ruined the drill. I think he was not supposed to be in that area, so Derek Carr can practice making the specific throw. As you can see, both of the sides of the ball were running at half speed. They weren't going at full speed during this drill, so I think Malcolm Koonce just made a little mistake there. And here's the thing about Josh McDaniels is Josh McDaniels has always kind of been a fired up guy. I know we still have our memory of him, at New England with Tom Brady yelling at Josh McDaniels, but when you look back at his time in Denver, and you look at just how he's been throughout his whole entire career, he's got a little bit of Chucky in him. I will say he will drop some F-bombs. He will yell at somebody. There's numerous videos of his time with the Broncos. You could check it out. I actually did a little mini documentary of his time at the Broncos. Check it out on my channel. If you just search Josh McDaniels Broncos WiFiWillie, you should be able to find that. But look, I like this. You know what? Personally, I think whether you're in the sports or military, it does help to have this discipline. It does help to just kind of get chewed out sometimes. We can't be dealing with any of this, oh, are you okay? Just try to adjust next time and do it better. No, that doesn't motivate anybody. What motivates people is getting on their ass. Straight up. Look, I've been yelled at numerous jobs, and did it make me work harder? Hell yeah, it made me work harder because I was scared of getting freaking fired. So I think this is a good method by Josh McDaniels, and I think it's the right call. Sometimes you just got to get a little fired up. And here's the thing. Vic Tafur is talking about the fact that Josh McDaniels was fired up. There was some mistakes yesterday at camp with regards to the offensive line, how they're blocking, and Josh McDaniels even talked about in the press conference earlier today that they have a great opportunity to correct some of the mistakes they made yesterday because they're not preparing for a big game in the regular season, and he was a little disappointed with how the blocking went. However, they're going to continue to get to work, and he's getting more fired up, bringing more intensity because the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. August 4th, less than a week away, the first game. And not only that, think about it. It's like a month and 10 days for the first regular season game against the Chargers. By the way, we will be going live during every single game, live play-by-play, live reaction, tons of fun times. Make sure you turn on notifications so you do not miss when WiFiWillie and the Raiders Rundown goes live. We'll be going live during all those games, and especially August 4th, the Hall of Fame game. Now, we'll be back to our regular setup as well. Aaron Rodgers asked about Lazard. Is he happy that he has his wide receiver, Allen Lazard, back after Lazard suffered some injuries? And Aaron Rodgers says, it's always tough going from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer is what Rodgers said. He's making a reference to Davante Adams when talking about going from Rodgers to Carr. Whenever you go from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer. And Davante Adams, we have tons of videos about this, him doubling down on it, clarifying. Really, in my opinion, if I were to talk to Devontae, I would say, man, you got to just leave it alone because when you poke a nest, it ends up just getting more activity. It ends up just getting more wild and more active rather than just leaving the nest alone and letting it decay. When you poke that hornet's nest, that's exactly what happens. Hey, but Rodgers is having fun talking about going from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer, comparing Devontae Adams to Allen Lazard. But hey, pump the brakes, Aaron Rodgers. I know you're a chill hippie guy with your crystals out in the mountains or whatnot, taking who knows what, probably some. I'm not going to get into that, actually. I don't want to get sued. Either way, I will say Lazard to Adams, there's no comparison. There's no comparison at all. Rodgers to Carr, like to me, yes, Rodgers is great. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best QBs. Carr is a great QB, but doesn't have the resume, right? However, I do think that there's just more tape. There's more tape for Carr compared to Lazard, and I think you can easily say that Carr is a top 10 QB, and I don't think you can easily say that, Lazard is a top 10 wide receiver. Sorry about that. Anyways, though, McDaniels doesn't expect Clelin Ferrell and Roderick Teamer to be out that long. We know there's tons of people who have not been at practice, perhaps inside the building. Clelin Ferrell left with an undisclosed injury just yesterday. And Zamir White also in the press conference, I don't have this written down, but in the press conference, he also basically implied that Zamir White's going to be back, in a healthy amount of time. It's not a long-term injury for the running back Zamir White, neither with Roderick Teamer, who had that collision with Jonathan Abram, and Clelin Ferrell, who suffered an undisclosed injury yesterday and left practice early. So these guys are all coming back. That's great to see, great to hear. I really wish and I hope, and if I was there in the presser room, I would ask for an update on Bilal Nichols. I haven't seen really any more updates on what's going on with the defensive tackle Bilal Nichols, big free agent signing this year. I want to know more information about that. So this seems good. These guys we need the depth, man, and these guys are not going to be out long-term, according to Tashawn Reed of The Athletic, who also, Tashawn Reed noted, people he did not see on the field. Now, these guys could be working inside. Obviously, Zamir White, we talked about him. But Neil Farrell Jr., the defensive tackle out of LSU, also not there, along with Chandler Jones and Clelin Ferrell. Now, hopefully, this is not a big deal. I think if the Chandler Jones thing was serious, we would hear some kind of report. Somebody from even the national media would probably be talking about this. So I'm going to assume that maybe it's a personal day or something like that. I'm going to assume that. It's just my opinion. Hopefully it's no actual injury for Chandler Jones, anything of that nature. And also Darius Phillips and Kyler Fackrell not at practice along with Roderick Teamer. But we'll see. If these guys are coming back, we know for sure Zamir White, Teamer, and Clelin Ferrell will be back in a healthy amount of time, and hopefully it's nothing serious going on with Chandler Jones. But I'm excited for everything going on so far. It's interesting to see the preseason game already arising. Now, we wanted to talk about, at the end of this clip, some of the top position battles I believe are happening right now with the team based on these reports that I've seen from people like Tashawn Reed, people like Vincent Bosingor, Vic Tafer of The Athletic, all these people. Basically, based off what they've said so far, based off how our money is allocated, based off the depth chart in general, what I believe is happening is there is a position battle for the strong safety position. I think Trayvon Merring is obviously solidified as the starter at the free safety position, but Jonathan Abram versus Duran Harmon. You really have heard a lot of positive things about both Duran Harmon and Jonathan Abram. Obviously, Jonathan Abram is a younger player, a more unproven player, and Duran Harmon is a veteran player who's clearly at the last quarter of his career. I mean, he's even openly said that. However, both guys are talented in special ways, and it's really going to come down to who is going to be the best fit the majority of time wherever you align them up, because we've heard that in Patrick Graham's system, the strong safety moves around the field and is not just in the box, a place where Jonathan Abram is comfortable. So that's going to be a big position battle this upcoming month and the next 10 days, basically the next 40 days. We got to figure out who our strong safety is. We got to figure out who our guards are after Denzel Good has retired. Who is going to be the guard? You got a nice battle going on right now between Lester Cotton Sr., who's received some hype, between John Simpson, the 4th-round pick from Clemson, and obviously Dylan Parham is going to compete at guard as well because the centers are cross-trained at guard, according to Ziegler after the draft press conference. So Key position battle at guard, strong safety, definitely going to be intense. Definitely don't know for sure who's the guy, who's going to be that starter. I mean, it is a guess. It is a projection right now. It's not like these other positions where you know for sure, hey, Trayvon Manning is going to be the starting free safety, right? There are some positions you just know this for a fact, right? And now, some positions that originally I believed were going to be a tough position battle, but it no longer feels like that's the case anymore. And I'm going to go with cornerback on the outside. Originally, we were wondering, whoa, we got so many talented guys on the outside. Hobbs is probably going to be in the slot, right? But we have Averett, Mullen, Rock-Ya-Sin. Now that Mullen really hasn't been practicing, and we don't know too much about this injury going on with him, and you see Anthony Averett in the press conferences, you see Rock-Ya-Sin making some plays based on some reports from people at camp. It really does seem for certain in a lot of ways, and you could put your money on this a little bit, that week one, the starting outside corners are I would, in my opinion, 80% going to be Anthony Averett and Rock-Ya-Sin. Those are going to be the starting outside corners week one of the regular season, and then Nate Hobbs in the slot. So originally I thought this was going to be a thing that we probably can't guess at this point, but now to me, on my opinion, based off these reports and everything that's happening, I think that's a little more certain. Also, I wouldn't say this is for sure, but the outside wide receiver position, I also thought, like cornerback, was going to be something that we really don't know. We're not sure who's going to be the guy. You got a lot of talented people in the mix like Robinson, Mac Hollins, and Keelan Cole, but it does seem like things are going in Mac Hollins' favor. I'm not sure if he is just going to be a special teams morale guy. He was a captain for the Dolphins last year, despite the fact that he was not a starter on the outside at wide receiver. But you see a lot of positive reports, and it makes you think it's probably Mac Hollins' job to lose, really, at this point. Also, another report that I did not include, the backup QB position. Vic Tafur was talking about this just the other day. I don't have it here, but basically what he said is it doesn't seem like there's much competition in terms of Nick Mullins and Chase Scarber's for Stidham's job. Stidham is pretty much solidified as the backup QB, the number 2 QB. I also thought that would be a big competition, but it does seem like it kind of makes sense. You know, McDaniels trades for Stidham, a guy that he knows, a guy that he's been around in New England. So he's pretty much solidified to be that second string QB, his job to lose. And that makes a lot of sense. And according to Vic Tafur's report today, he thinks it's going in his favor. So those are three things: a backup QB, outside second wide receiver, outside cornerback. Those are three things we thought we wouldn't know today, and we kind of do know now. And obviously, the things that are a tough position battle is the strong safety position. Right now, it's kind of up in the air as to who's that going to be. And also both guards. We really don't know for sure which of these three guys are going to get the starting job. Either way, hey, like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe to the Raiders Rundown for more Raiders content. We will be back soon to our regular schedule and our regular setup, and I hope to see you then. My name is WiFiWillie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.